Hi folks, Andrew here. This video is going to be a bit short, seeing as it's a spur-of-the-moment kind of thing, but I felt it was necessary to create some awareness for a Kickstarter campaign happening right now alongside Mighty No. 9, and share my thoughts over a series that deserves some much-needed attention, Shantae, Half Genie Hero. And since the video will be a short one, I figured it wasn't necessary to show the intro. Oh, who am I kidding? Here it is anyway. Shantae started her humble beginnings at a development-for-hire studio in California called Wayforward. It was their first internally developed game directed by Matt Bozon, a lead designer for much of their software at the time, whose wife Erin Bozon initially came up with the idea, lending Matt to pitch it to the company. With the help of publication by Capcom, it got a release in 2002 for the Game Boy Color. The game stars Shantae, a strong-willed and cheerful genie, well, half genie, who is the sole protector of Scuttletown. After a vicious attack led by the grim pirate leader Risky Boots, it's up to Shantae to return a stolen relic and stop Risky's evil plans to terrorize the peaceful folk of Sequinland. What really made Shantae stand out to me was how different of a protagonist she was. Despite being amongst a slew of other characters that were introduced to us at the time, I felt she really had appeal. She fights evil monsters with the whip of her hair, uses her dance powers to transform into other creatures to reach difficult areas, along with several other powers and abilities, traveling an expanded world filled with awesome, creative monsters and characters like Roddy Tops. God, I love these names. I guess I have a soft spot for monsters and girls. That's not weird, is it? Unfortunately, much like many Game Boy Color games at the time, and even with a lot of high praise from reviewers, it was a bit doomed to obscurity because of the release of the Game Boy Advance a year earlier. However, it still managed to maintain a bit of a cult following, and even has a second chance with the re-release on the Virtual Console. I say if you're curious of the game's beginnings, you should definitely pick it up on the 3DS eShop. The somewhat dated sprite work is very impressively animated, which has become a staple for the company to this day. For those who love classic work, the sprite or dot art is charming, and gives it a very nostalgic feeling. Around the time, such visual themes were a bit commonplace, and people were looking towards more modern visual appeal and progression. Nowadays, it seems like this art form has been getting somewhat of a comeback, and is just another addition in the many ways a game can be styled. Style is of course not a genre, it's just another method of getting the story across visually to however the artist feels strongly. And it's interesting how the limitations of those classic consoles practically just added another method of appearance. Hopes of a sequel was made after the success of the Game Boy Advance, but yet again, it seemed like they were a bit too late and the Nintendo DS was just around the corner. Luckily, the title had been revived thanks to the Nintendo DSiWare, and a true sequel was born, Shantae, Risky's Revenge. The graphics and visual style were updated and it utilized the dual screen and added for greater challenges and abilities. And we are getting a third installment of the franchise, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse for the 3DS eShop, with the same charming visual style we've seen in the previous installment. You can look forward to completing your digital collection of the series soon. But that's certainly not all for the mystical belly dancer. With a strong and talented team, Matt Bozon and the many artists at Wayforward are gathering funds to bring Shantae the true upgraded sequel it deserves. With supreme talent like Mariel Cartwright, Gigi Digi, Inti Creates, and Jake Vert Kaufman to name just a few, you can't really go wrong. It's a shame that the Origin's initial release was so late in the game. Because of the prime focuses to the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and the Xbox, a small title like this is usually hidden within their shadows. But even today, with our continued efforts to collect nostalgia and hidden gems like this one, we go back to games we missed or were released before our time, and they end up being amongst our favorites, even if they're 15, 20 years old. We want people to know what they're missing. These days, and even back then, presenting a new property is seen as a massive risk. Concepts such as Shantae are usually hidden from the public, get held in production limbo for months upon years before ever getting a chance to shine, or just get flat out cancelled during production for various reasons. For Shantae to even have been given a release despite its timing is an accomplishment, and though they don't seem to get a lot of publicity upon their release, they end up becoming grand memories to those who have had the pleasure of growing up with it, and would love to see a revival at a grander scale with the technology and visual progression we get in today's standards. Creators have that chance with Kickstarter and Indiegogo, getting that chance to provide for fans and curious new onlookers. The supporters can voice their opinions while also understanding the creator's initial vision, because while it's good to give the fans what they want, they should be trusted to try new things, and they certainly seem hungry for it. To many, this could be the new experience they've been asking for. They just need that push. While we can still enjoy console releases and AAA games from the big three, we like that charm and nostalgia. Big games are fun, but they sometimes end up being cold and uninviting. With Shantae, we can introduce not only a lovable character to gamers new to the somewhat obscure franchise, but a new experience to those who do know about it. What I'm basically saying is, if you haven't heard of Shantae, give it a chance. You may surprise yourself. And even if you're not that interested and have a few bucks in your wallet, what's the harm in helping talented artists achieve their dreams and making beloved classics that can make a generation of gamers happy to experience? I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I do so hope that you'll consider supporting the Shantae Kickstarter, along with any other Kickstarter game that may interest you. Mighty number 9! Sorry, I must have had a little nostalgia in my throat. I really also appreciate your support for watching this, and look forward to more upcoming videos in the future. So thanks for tuning in, be creative, and be excellent to one another. It's Winston's birthday present!